Well, I came to Apache Junction in 1947, over 70 years ago, but I acquired the Wasp, and where my home is now, just over 40 years ago. The Wasp, this is strange. I'd mentioned that the Mammoth Mine was all Mormons, Merrill, Hakes, Kozner, but right in the middle of them was a Gentile, Joseph Riley Morse. And back in those days, they had an acronym, WASP, White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. And the Mormons probably derisively called him the Old Wasp. Well, he named the mine after himself. The Wasp ore chute wasn't discovered until 1929, and it was discovered 1,000 feet underground by an encroachment from the Mammoth Mine. At the 1,000-foot level, the Mammoth people were drifting south, following the Mammoth Fault contact, where all of the gold here at Goldfield has been discovered. They reached their south boundary and found some very good assays. And they drifted, I think, 193 feet under the Wasp. And there was about 115 feet of that drift that averaged 0.6 of an ounce per ton. And in the center of it, there was about 15 feet that averaged almost 2 ounces. And at the end of that drift, at the face where they quit, 12 inches wide, it still averaged almost 3 ounces. So they encountered very good ore at the 1,000-foot level. Now, the Wasp ore chute was not discovered near the surface until I think it was 1986, when two prospectors or miners named Welker and Housley approached me about getting a lease on the Wasp north of the highway. There's a fellow over here at the Bluebird named John Wilburn. Wilburn had gone over on the Wasp north of the highway and noticed a blue copper carbonate bloom right in the bottom of the wash, which indicates copper mineralization. Darn his hide, he didn't come to me. He knew I owned the property. He went to Welker and Housley. They came, got a lease on it, went over with a backhoe, and 4 feet below the surface, they hit the apex of the Wasp ore chute. They mined it as an open pit down to about 50 feet, took out $620,000 in gold, which would be over $2 million today. Deep in the bowels of the earth, where it's under incredible pressure and temperature, gold and silver and precious metals will actually go into solution with water. And where you have a fault, where you have a weakness coming up to the surface, that pressure can force those solutions up through that fault. But once it reaches the surface, then the temperature and pressure drop sharply, and the gold and the silver precipitate out. And that creates what they call a supergene surface enrichment. It will not continue to depth. But the feeder, we know for a number of reasons that where they intercepted the Wasp ore chute at the 1,000-foot level is definitely the same ore chute that Welker and Housley worked out as a surface mine. Now, you can also extrapolate this. It hadn't bottomed out, so if you add 10 or 20% to the bottom, and the end of that drift was still in pay ore, if you add another 10 or 20% to that, you could come up with $50 million, and those figures mean absolutely nothing. We've got dreams about doing something with it. We would like to see Goldfield back in production again, and it very well could happen. The history is there, the geology is there, and the Wasp, since it is private land, You are not bothered with permits from the Forest Service and the BLM and all of the other paperwork with the federal government.
Thank you for watching this episode of Mysteries of the Superstition Mountains.